welcome to my channel. My name is Arnaldo and this is Articulture. Today I will be talking to you about how not to kill your newly purchased houseplant, your new plant that you have brought home. Remember that your plant has gone through an extensive journey just to arrive at your nursery or your big box store or wherever it is that you're buying your plant from. Remember that they have to transport them in trucks, and it's probably really hot in the trucks, and they're been shaken around a lot, and they've possibly been banging up against each other. So they've gone through already a stressful traveling just to arrive to your nursery. And remember that also, when your plant has been growing in a nursery, and in the nursery it's been receiving the optimum scenario for the best growth, and it's received everything that it could possibly need in the best conditions. So if that plant has had the best humidity, the best temperature, the appropriate amount of light that certain plant requires to grow, and also water and fertilizer. So then it arrives to the nursery and all that stops. All that ends. It's not going to receive the same treatment that it was receiving at the greenhouse, wherever it was growing. So it arrives to your store and it's now shoved into shelves with a bunch of other plants, and it's not receiving the light that it was receiving before. It's probably not getting the amount of water that it probably requires correctly, because imagine there's so many plants that they just hose them all down and they just all get wet on the same day, and whether they need water or not, they're probably going to get watered. So yeah, there's all those factors that play into the fact that the plant is probably stressed. So then you arrive at the nursery or the store and you choose your plant, and then you take it and put it in your car, or however it is that you're going to be transporting your plant. And then again, it could possibly be being stressed out a little bit more, because like for me in my car, I have those nursery plant carriers with the spaces for the plants, and I have a couple of those in my back seat, because I'm always ready to purchase a plant. But even then, sometimes you purchase a lot of plants, you purchase a few plants, or a large plant like this one that does not fit in those container holders. And it can possibly topple over, and again, it's being moved around in the car. If there's a few plants, they could be hitting each other, and a branch could possibly break or something. So yeah, again, more of a stressful scenario for your poor plant. So then you bring it home. So the most important thing, I think, when you purchase a plant and you bring it home, the number one thing not to do would be to repot your plant. You don't want to repot your newly purchased plant, because, like I said, it arrives in your house already stressed, and a repotting of a plant is another stressful situation for your plant, because you could possibly hurt a few of the roots. And I mean, you know, normally when you're repotting a plant, there is some like root damage and stuff. So again, that's more stress for the plant. So the suggestion is to wait at least 2 weeks. Wait at least 2 weeks when you have brought your plant new home for any repotting, for any of that. You want to let your plant settle in first and to de-stress before you go and do a repotting. So number 2 would be to place the plant where it receives indirect light, a good spot where it can get indirect light. And again, also suggest to keep in that perfect spot for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks to let your plant acclimate to the new environment. Because even if it's a plant, like let's say for instance that this plant is a plant that can handle a low light situation, a low light scenario, still you want to let your plant first acclimate by receiving the optimal amount of light, and then when your plant is de-stressed and is comfortable, then you can move it into an area where it's less light. And again, the plant has at that point adjusted to the light situation and the conditions of your home or wherever it is that you'll be placing your plant. So the number 3 thing is water. Remember that the plants in the nursery are getting a lot of water, and maybe your plant doesn't need it. So please check the soil. Make sure the soil is dry before you go ahead and water your plant again after arriving at home. And also make sure, and always do this with all of your plants, make sure that the water drains all the way through the bottom and does not sit like in those pots that don't have a drainage hole or something like that. You don't want to let your plant sit in the wet soil for a long time, because you don't want to have it to have any root damage. So okay guys, I want to show you here a perfect example of a plant that's in a big box store and is not receiving the appropriate conditions that it needs to thrive and to live. So this is a perfect example. I actually purchased this just yesterday. And this is a gorgeous euphorbia specimen. I mean, it's such a beautiful large plant, and I'm redoing my greenhouse area, and I'm doing it kind of xeriscapey, deserty, and I want just succulents, cacti, and that type of thing, which of course I'll show you guys once I have it all put together. I'll show you guys the video. But when I saw this beautiful specimen, I knew that I had to have her to incorporate in my new design. So of course I went and I chose the best one out of the group, and I was so happy. And unfortunately I can't tell you what the name of her is, because it didn't say anything. I just know that it's a euphorbia. As soon as I find out, and then I'll let you guys know. But yeah, perfect example. So this is a euphorbia, which it even says on the label. It says to only water when the soil is dry. And of course that's great advice, but it had just finished raining when I arrived at the big box store. And I have to go, I own a house, so I need to go often to, you know, Home Depot and Lowe's and those kind of places. So of course I always park in the area of the nursery, so it's my excuse to just, you know, kind of browse through. And it's a great way actually to find, because there are some amazing finds that you can get. Like I've gotten at Home Depot plants that would be really expensive in other nurseries, and you can get really lucky and find those rare plants. You know, you can get a beautiful Hoya. I've gotten some amazing, really large Hoyas for $19.99, which I think is fantastic. And in this case, this beautiful euphorbia, if I were to have bought this in another nursery where that's specifically sell cactus and cacti and succulents, it would have definitely been at least double, if not triple, what I paid. So it was only like $24, which I think is amazing, because, you know, a euphorbia like this takes at least a couple of years to grow to get to the size. So, and this is a really large one, so it's going to grow gorgeous, and I'm super excited to have it in my garden. But what I wanted to say was, so I purchased it, and I knew that it was wet because it had just rained. So I brought it home, and luckily for me that I noticed what was going on. This plant was in this little plastic cover container that you see here. So the plant is actually inside of one of those other little plastic liner pots. You know, it's a really thin one. And that one actually has drainage holes, but this little cover that I don't understand why they would ever put a euphorbia or a cacti or any kind of plant like that in this kind of plastic cover, which had no drainage holes. It had no drainage holes. I was like so upset when I saw that, because I don't know how long this plant had sat in the nursery, and Lord knows they're hosing them down every day. I don't know how long this poor plant had sat in water, in a pool of water. It was literally inside of a pool of water. So I took it out of the liner. I placed it in the sun. I placed it in the sun for a full day, and I kept turning the plant. The water kept seeping, the plant kept seeping water out of the bottom of the pot. And I would pick it up and I would like turn it sideways, and the water would just like keep pouring out. I'm telling you, the whole day. It stood in the sun the whole day, and I kept turning it as to make sure that that the substrate, the soil that it's in, would dry completely, which I can tell you, it's still completely wet. And that was a whole day of sun. But even worse is that the plant was grown in coco coir, which I think is a really bad choice for this kind of plant, because this plant really wants a well-draining soil, and this stuff just holds moisture continuously. So I'm gonna do a little more research, but I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna have to completely remove it. I think I will, and give it what it really needs. A well-draining soil that has really good aeration for the roots, because I want success with this plant. I want it to grow and be beautiful and not be struggling in the soil that it's in. So again, I just wanted to give you guys an example, and this happened to me just yesterday, of the things and the stressful scenarios that these poor plants are put through in the nurseries where you're purchasing them. So please, check your plant, look at it, see the soil that it comes in, see what has been done not correctly, and so that you can rectify that and you can give your plant the best scenario for optimum growth and to thrive for you. So yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know what I had gone through with this one, so you could see how it's not always the best scenario. So these are all new additions to my plant collection, which I'm really happy. This little elephant bush spec boom, there's all these different little hybrids, and plants like this one, look how pretty, it's like so full, just gorgeous. Plants like this one are much more a much stronger plant, a much easier to adapt plant. This one right here is a little Madagascar palm. It's just a little baby. And this is an ant plant. Look at how cute, the little mini ant plant. I just had to get one of these. This was at Casa Planta. They have such a great selection. So look how cute. But yeah, like I was saying, so some of them are like stronger plants that can adapt easier to a repotting or something like that, or even the light scenario that they're in. But sometimes they have them in just like these conditions that are really tough for your plant. So I guess that for me, the thing that I struggle with is when I bring a new plant home, that I want to immediately put it in a new pot, because for me, the aesthetics of how a plant looks in its pot, because of the fact that I make my own pots and because I have everything in a certain colorway, and it's just the way that I like to have my plants. So yeah, I struggle a little bit with like, there's a red terracotta plant mixed in with all my grays. So yeah, that's just me. But again, I know that I have to wait, and that I have to be patient, and that I have to wait a couple of weeks before I can do it. But I'm definitely going to be changing the substrate of this plant and putting it in probably one of my concrete planters, which I will make specifically for her. So remember to have patience with your plants, because you have to have patience and your plant will start to thrive for you. So I hope this video has helped you in having success with growing new houseplants, and also so that you can have confidence to grow your collection. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next episode.